Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I have a confession to make. It is something that I'm a little bit ashamed of. I'm ashamed to admit. I haven't paint, draw anything at all in over a month. I haven't held a art supply in probably 5 weeks now. And it's something that for me is very hard to admit because I got to a point in the last year and a half where I was comfortably sketching every single day. I will make a bigger complex paint here and there, but I will definitely grab my sketchbook every single day, and all of a sudden I stopped. The reason why I stopped in the beginning and that I didn't even think of drawing or painting was a health reason, and it's a really struggle every year in springtime. I tend to have a severe hay fever, not every year, but sometimes it turns into asthma episode, and this was one of those year, and I had asthma for 10 full days. And because I was out of my country, it was really hard for me to access health care and get the care I needed. So it was a big struggle. And on top of that, my son as well had for 5 days very high temperature of 39.5, and that was very worrisome. But luckily everything got sorted out and we got to come back to our country, where life just took over. I had so many things to organize and stuff to do, and to be honest, the idea of start painting again, grab a reference photo and go in with all the details that I usually like to create, it was quite overwhelming. It felt a bit scary, and it sort of was holding me up from starting again. But I knew I had to start again. And the reason why you guys didn't realize anything is because I had a few video filmed in advance, and then I did a few chatty video where I didn't really need to grab any art supply. The only solution I found in my mind to start over is to try some intuitive painting. It just let my hands drive my thoughts, my color, my creativity, my choice of a design, without have to look at anything and without have to choose any supply in advance. And this is what you see today. Today I'm having a session of intuitive painting that is the only thing that got me out of this mental block, that got me out of my fear of starting again. And this is why I took out the majority of my supply, because I didn't want to choose. I just felt like I had to put some marks on the paper, and that's what I did. And let me tell you a little bit about this process because it was so interesting and fun for me. If you guys have never tried intuitive painting, it's something that you have to give it a chance, because it doesn't matter the end result, it's for you, and it's to free your mind from any block you may have. I start with a base of watercolor, and here I also use a very cheap watercolor paper because I knew that I wanted to only create for myself, so I didn't want to have any pressure of expensive item of some sort. So I use a very cheap watercolor paper, and I use my Amy watercolor palette, and I knew I wanted a red as a base, a dark, moody red. And this is what I start with. I mix red with a darker gray that gave me my background in the base. And for the sky as well, I use a dark tint of blue that I also mix with a bit of a dark gray and also a red here and there, because I really wanted the red to filter through. And then I got to use, really wanted to use one of the art supply that I bought a few months back. I didn't have the chance to use yet. And this is my Willow charcoal, that to just put mark of freedom on the paper is amazing. And this is what I use to create those central mark on the paper that can resemble trees, but I didn't really want to create anything specific. I just wanted make marks. I want my hands to be free to go everywhere I wanted without the constriction of a meaning and a specific reference. So it's mark in the center of the paper, and I wanted to balance the darkness of the black of the charcoal with a little bit of dark shininess, and that's why I use this copper acrylic paint marker. And I try to use, I love acrylic paint marker. It's a new passion that came in just in the last few weeks, and yeah, I'm quite kind of mad about it. I love them. So I use a green for the base, but I felt like the green I had was too bright, and it sort of was clashing with the uh, red, dark red moodiness tone of this art piece, of this creation. So I add on top some silver and some more copper and some black. Then you may say, yes, silver may still give a lot of shininess. This is true, but it didn't feel like it was clashing. It felt like it was just about what I needed. And then I find this Neo Color one. Those are the only three color I have, and they are perfect for mark making. And they are three color that I really love to use. Once again, I have this sort of copper color that it just fits so well in this art piece, and I try to just press it here and there. And then for the sky, I had this light blue that it was so fitting, and it gave a little bit more definition to my background, and it just fitted really, really well. And the last color I had, I used it to give a bit more shininess, bit more brightness to my tree. But this was good. I love that I had a bit more of that gold kind of look, because I love gold. I bought gold in every single medium I could find recently, but I also realized that it sent my willow charcoal blackness away, and I needed a black to come through. I didn't want the black to be predominant, but I wanted to shine through. And this is why I use this sort of fine liner, thick fine liner. I got it in a recent art haul, in a recent scroller box. And yeah, I felt like this would be the perfect place for me to use it and make some of those darker contrasts that I really needed to have. By the way, I did promise you guys a full tutorial on a mixed media piece, and this is not that. It's a mixed media piece, but this is just for me to release and to start over and to find that inner passion for art supplies once again. It will come a proper mixed media piece next week where we will have more definition and structure, and yeah, I can guide you through the process a little bit more. Here is where I got to use some of my Caran d'Ache luminance pencil. I love this rusty red color, and once again the red come through one more time, and this was sort of yeah, the color of the day for me. It's not a color that I choose all the time. It's actually kind of unlike for me. Uh, but yeah, today it was the color they spoke to me, and I got to leave some marks here and there with this Caran d'Ache pencil. I felt like the corner needed a little bit more, and that's why I decided to create the figure of birds. But I will change this later on because it it was just a little line just to give the idea, but it was way too defined for me, and it was kind of clashing with purpose of this painting. So I made it a little bit more dirty, and you will see later on. But while I was painting these birds, I realized that there was a lot of light filtering through the corner, and this is why I decided to use the yellow to create extra sun rays coming from the side and give a little bit of light to the corner of my painting or artwork or creative piece, however you want to call it. I was really throwing everything at this artwork, everything I could find. I have these metallic pens, and I had this, I realized I had this dark gray, and it was so perfect to make a bit of a mess on that background. It was still a bit too clear and still a bit too shiny for me. So I wanted to, let's say, ruin it a little bit, and this dark gray was super fitting. But we arriving to the end of the supply that I decided to throw at it, and last thing I'm using is this metallic ink from Winsor & Newton, and I decided to go with the gold first because I am a gold person. As I said, I love gold, and I felt like some splash of gold will really change the tone. Not clear line, but splashes, and the same with white to create a little bit of contrast. I think I'm done with this one. I don't really want to add anything else, and I really like the contrast of color. Yeah, I really like the artwork per se as well. It's kind of a different, kind of know me, and now that I look at it, I want to fix it a little bit in here. Okay, one second. I think like the line were just too pure for where I was going with this painting, so I sort of had to ruin it to make it fit inside my artwork. Yeah, I like it a bit more like this. thank you so much, guys, for joining me in this journey of starting again after a long break. It felt like I was completely new to it, like I had to grab color again for the first time, and that felt sort of scary. So have to do this exercise was actually very liberating, very freely, and I really like how it came out, especially because of the contrast of color. They all sort of complement each other, because sort of they go on the dark side, even if we have a little touch of bold color, but also there is some big contrast in there and a bit of shininess. Yeah, that was a really good exercise. I'm very happy that I got to share this journey with you, and I hope you enjoyed this video as well. Let me know in the comment if you haven't had to take a long break for art, and how you dealing with starting again, and yeah, what's your technique for starting again. If you enjoyed this video, as always, give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel, and I love to know that you guys are there actually listening and watching. And I'll see you next time with a new video. Bye, guys.